Today we're going to start on your Revolutionary War packet. You should probably have a pencil or highlighter with you because we're going to look at some of the words that you're going to need when you do context clues as we're reading this. So let's go ahead and get started. The controversial causes. The Revolutionary War, or American Revolution, was a war between the 13 North American colonies and Great Britain. The war lasted from 1775 until 1783. Many factors caused the war to begin. Colonists were being unfairly taxed by the British government, in which they had no representation under King George III's rule. Resistance in the colonies led to violent events such as the Boston Massacre and protests such as the Boston Tea Party. So come on over here. Look, they give you a timeline of the American Revolution. So this is going to be very, very helpful when we're answering questions later. So in 1773, the Tea Act is passed, which led to the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, war begins as British soldiers and Americans fight at Lexington and Concord. 1776, Congress signs the Declaration of Independence. 1777, Americans defeat the British at the Battle of Saratoga. 1781, British surrender after being surrounded at Yorktown. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris is signed, officially ending the war. So from the start of 1773 until the treaty was signed in 1783, that's 10 years. So this is like a 10-year war that we're looking at here. Okay, so let's read a little bit more. We have brutal battles. The Battle of Lexington and Concord is considered the beginning of the American Revolution in April 1775. At this time, the British were trying to take all of the colonists' weapons. When soldiers arrived in Lexington to do so, a shot was fired known as the shot heard round the world. No one knows which side fired the first shot, but this began the American Revolution. The colonists fled Lexington, so the British soldiers traveled to Concord to continue taking their weapons. Here, the Americans defeated the British and forced them to retreat. After many other battles, the two battles of Saratoga became a turning point in the war as the British soldiers surrendered. Benjamin Franklin was able to use this victory to help convince France to support America in the war. In 1781, the Battle of Yorktown took place. This was the last major battle of the war. The Continental Army, led by General George Washington, was able to defeat British troops at Yorktown. Losing this battle led to British finally considering peace. Notice I've highlighted the word fled and the word retreat. Okay, we're going to need those when we do your context clues paper. So go ahead and underline or highlight those. Winning the war. The Treaty of Paris was the official peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States of America. This treaty ended the war. America was now recognized as its own country, just as it had declared years before on July 4th, 1776, with its Declaration of Independence. So they give you a glossary here, and the first one is the Boston Massacre. So they tell us that 5 colonists were shot and killed by British soldiers during a protest. And then they tell us about the Boston Tea Party, which is a protest during which colonists dumped tea from the ships into the Boston harbor to show their anger over unfair taxes and treatment. So now I need you to turn the page, okay? We are going to read It's a Revolution, and notice up here they give you the website that this came from. It is AmericanRevolution.net, okay? So if you go there, you can find the same article. After years of unfair treatment, colonists began to rebel against the British government and its leader, King George III. A war known as the American Revolution began in 1775 and lasted for 8 years. The Battle of Lexington and Concord is considered the beginning of the Revolutionary War. During these battles, British soldiers were trying to disarm the colonists or take away their weapons. The British were successful in Lexington. However, they met more opposition or fighting in Concord after colonists were warned by Paul Revere. Many other battles took place during the American Revolution. The last major battle is known as the Battle of Yorktown. The colonists used the help of the French and their own knowledge of the geography of the land to win. This was a major turning point and opened the door to talks of peace. The war officially ended in 1783 when the Treaty was signed. It is interesting to note that while the most famous images show only white men fighting, women, African Americans, and Native Americans also fought for the cause. In fact, other countries were involved in the war as well. The French were a major ally or partner to the colonists. Spanish and German soldiers also fought in the war. Okay, because this is like a website page, they have down here, click on the links for info on other battles, and they give you the Battle of Bunker Hill and the Battle of Saratoga. Obviously, it's paper, we can't click on it. And down here, it talks a little bit about George Washington. So before he was president. George Washington may be most famous for being the first president of the United States of America. However, he also did a great deal of important work before becoming president. Washington was one of Virginia's delegates or representatives at the First and Second Continental Congress. He was also the general of the Continental Army and was in charge of leading his soldiers to victory over Britain during the Revolutionary War. And they tell us where they got this picture of George Washington. The photograph was retrieved from the Library of Congress. Okay, so check out the other videos to help you with your